Blog Talk Radio.
In the Shema Yasharallah Ahaya Alahayanawa Ahaya Ahad Shema Yasharallah Ahaya Alahayanawa Ahaya Ahad Shema Yasharallah Ahaya Alahayanawa Ahaya
Shalom, 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 and welcome everyone to Restoring the Daughters of Zion, GOCC's first women's show, designed with you in mind. The first two musical interludes that you heard were the Song of Moses, the complete Song of Moses, Exodus 15, and Deuteronomy 6 and 4, our dedication, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. We're coming to you live via Blog Talk Radio International, and I'm your host. I'm Sister Shirley, and along with me, of course, Carol.
Oh, Sister Carol, I'm so sorry. I was looking at something else. You know, I'm crazy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that much is certain. But okay.
Shalom, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so if you're just overhearing the show, you want to be a part of the program, you want to ask a question, make a comment, you can dial in at 515-605-9327. That's 515-605-9327. You can connect with us also via the web at blogtalkradio.com/Restoring the Daughters of Zion. We're also available via Skype. Just go to the Blog Talk webpage and search for Restoring the Daughters of Zion. You can also reach out to us privately via email. Our email address is restoringthedaughters with an S of Zion at gmail.com. That's Restoring the Daughters of Zion at gmail.com. So as usual, before we get started, and buddy, we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. But before we get started, we do want to go through the typical housekeeping, and that is we would like to ask you for your help in supporting and helping to build the GOC network. As all of you are aware, the church has launched a new platform giving members amongst the body an opportunity to advertise their businesses and services to other members. Our aim is to, once again, prefer one another and become a more self-sufficient nation. Here are some of the products that are being offered and that have taken advantage of this opportunity. There's Shea & Company Consulting offering professional legal advice from our very own Brother Shapat. There's a book called Recovering from Autism, One Family's Journey of Hope and Healing. There's Desired Promise, natural products, including body butters, hair butters, scrubs, and more. Exodus, herbal gum and tooth powder. There's Heavenly Treasure, essential oils, information on healing, well-being, and more. Above Rubies, offering homemade hair care products with moisturizing butters, oils, and extract. And, we always talk about making sure we're not using things with chemicals and harsh items in it. You need to check out some of these products. Of course, there's 12 Tribes of Israel apparel, custom-made T-shirts, and designs. How about Virtuous Light? homemade and hand-poured candles made with love. Ahia's promise herbals, natural body scrubs, deodorants, creams, oils, and more. I love to live well. Eliminate sickness with 50 plus foods discussed, 250 scriptures, read the pure truth of what to eat. Then there's Love is Obedience, one family story portraying the image of love, sacrifice and obedience to parents. And I tell you, I have to throw this in for free, this nugget. The only time I got in trouble, or the first time I got in trouble, and every time I look back, my trouble was always because I disobeyed my parents. So this Love is Obedient, one family story portraying the image of love, sacrifice, and obedience to parents sounds like it's a must read. Then there's Alina's Blessed Naturals, offering fermented probiotic products. And these are the last few that are our newest members. I Pure Passion, offering toxic-free feminine napkins that help prevent fibroids, infertility, prolonged menstrual cycle, cancers, etc. Infotech, web design, PC, laptop repairs, networking, custom logos, and banners are located in the New Orleans area. Because as you know, we are an international organization. Fringes by Sister Mauve, custom-made Hebrew attire, including dresses, garments, scarves, shawls, tassels, and more. HOA, Blessed. Got that wrong again. HAO, Blessed. How Blessed Holy Anointing Oil, and How Blessed Holy Day Greeting Cards. And then lastly, there's a book titled Happiness, Health, and Humility, How to Erase Stress and Delete Distress for Good. All right, these businesses can all be found on the GOC website at www.gatheringofchrist.org under the GOC Network section, subheading Business Directory. If anyone would like to join the network or wants more information, they can send an email to goccnet@aol.com. That's goccnet@aol.com. And we just want to add that we're not doctors. We're not telling you to stop taking your medication. All the advice offered is for your listening enjoyment. How about that? All right. So, Carol, we have a good show tonight, don't we, Carol? Are you gone again,
Amen.
my sister?
No, I'm right here, sister.
All right. So what I want you to do, as usual, is let's go to the throne of grace. Ask the Most High, and for any of you new members that are out there, any of you new listeners, we call the Most High by His ancient Hebrew name, and the songs that you heard were in ancient Hebrew, the phonetic sound of Hebrew, and so you will hear us refer to the Most High God as Ahia, which means I am. Ahia Asha Ahia is I am that I am. And you will hear us say Yeshaya, which is Hebrew for Christ. So just to make sure all confusion is not there and that we're not worshiping idols or what you might consider idols. Not sure what everybody else thinks. But all right, Carol, bring us before the throne of grace so we can get the show started.
Amen, amen, amen.
Mm-hmm.
I want to first read 1 Corinthians 3:16 to 18. It says, Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of Ahia dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall Ahia destroy, for the temple of Ahia is holy, which temple ye are. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. Eternal Father, we come before you, asking you to let us become fools so that we may be wise. Meaning we are fools to this world's nonsense, Father. They have all types of recipes for us to follow, to be like them. But we want to be like the Most High. We want to protect the temples that you've given us, Father. We ask for direction, and not just direction, but you said with all thy getting, get understanding. Understanding on how we should take care of these temples. As we travel this journey of life, discovering things as we go to help us to keep your commandments as closely as possible, Father. We ask that you touch us and anoint us. Make things clear. Open up our eyes and open up our minds, Father, that we may follow that narrow path. We're asking you to bless this program, Father. Make everything that comes forth be edification to the listening audience and to us. We're asking you to bless the person that we have coming on, Father, that she may share information that will be just beneficial to everyone that hears it. Father, we thank you, as always, for another opportunity to come together to share, to show love and kindness to each other. Oh, Father, we're so grateful that you've given us this platform, to give us the ability to touch one another on Monday nights. We thank you for everything that you're doing. We ask that you heal anyone that's listening, anyone that has a loved one that needs a touch from you, because you are the master healer, Father.
Amen.
We thank you for hearing our prayers. We thank you that you give us the opportunity to come to you, Father, to bow our heads, to lay prostrate in front of you, Father, asking you to touch our hearts, asking you to create a closer walk, and at the same time, offering up ourselves a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, which is our reasonable price. We thank you so much tonight, Father. In the name of Ahaya Bashem Yeshaya, we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. That prayer was so timely, too. But right now, we're going to bring in our guests. But before we bring in our guests tonight, I just want to bring out a couple of items here, because our guest that's coming on tonight is going to be talking about a topic that is pretty near and dear to a lot of us, if not us in general, someone in our family, many someones in our family, and I'm gonna give her an opportunity to introduce herself and her website and all her information. But right now, I just want to talk about, it's going to be talking about, we like to bring on a variety of individuals that can give us information, give us the tidbits, give us the meat, and allow us to spit out the seeds and the bones and what have you from the fruit that we receive, so that we can make some wise choices. Now, we all know, a few weeks ago, we were into Dr. Sebi, right? Before we had Truman Burst. We also had Stephen Horn on that gave us some information. And Carol, what's the word on the street for most of these people that come on?
Oh, they're all right.
Absolutely.
They're all absolutely right, and they have the only way to heal you.
This is true. So, the good part is that 90%, or let's say 80% of what each one is bringing is good news. They all look at what we're consuming, and they all have testimonials of who in their groups have been healed, and people have enjoyed longevity of life, subscribing to these means, all the way back to Dr. Malcolmus. Remember Dr. Malcolmus, Carol? Wasn't it like one of our first herbalists that we looked into, and it was God's natural way of healing or something like that. And he brought out a lot of stuff about carrot juice and 75% raw food, but there was tofu involved. So I'm thinking that, all right, so you go with one of these individuals and you take whatever you can stand, because when we were looking at Dr. Sebi's plan, there was only a handful of things that you can eat. Your life has to be extremely disciplined to deal with that. You go with the raw foodists, then you have others that are telling you that you're missing out on the vitamins from the meats and the different things like that.
Mhm.
So let's bring in our guest. Let's let her introduce herself, and then let's find out what it is that we can do to heal ourselves
I want
from another bad.
thing.
But she's gonna go into weight loss and how we can control our weight. But you go ahead, Carol. Say what you're gonna say.
Use that. And I want to say something. I want to say something before you bring her in. I'm so excited. Just that what we are trying to do is to bring balance. We want
Absolutely.
everyone to listen to the various voices that are out there and then do what works for your lifestyle.
Amen.
Because when we did the raw food diet, remember, we were miserable. There was very little food we could eat. And then if we did eat, it ended up being processed raw foods. Like, you know, and someone things putting in it to make this taste like that. And that you're just right back to junk food.
Absolutely.
So what works for you not work for another guy. So let's all put our thinking caps on as we did when we were in school. And let's do some critical thinking and not just sit and listen and just take it and go and do. We're going to actually, a lot of it will be trial and error as you find what works for you, which brings optimal health. So let's bring this the speaker in now. I'm very excited to hear this topic.
Yeah, okay. All right, Stacey. We are bringing you in. How are you, Stacey?
I'm well. How are you?
We're good. And see, it was funny because when I was interviewing her, the first thing, one of the things that I asked her, I said, Stacey, I really want to hear what you have to say, but I have a question for you. Are you well? Because a lot of times you can get someone that's advocating that you do this, you do that, and they're sick. And it's like, well, hello, you're overweight, but you're telling me how to lose weight. I love it. All right, so Stacey,
going to the dentist's office and he's got rotten teeth and he's telling you, yeah, you want to get white teeth? And you're like, really?
So we're glad to hear that you're well. Stacey, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little about how you began on your journey, and then we want to know this big elephant in the room that might just be me, why we can't get our weight under control.
Well, my name is Stacey Chillemi, and I'm the founder of the Complete Herbal Guide. And I had started many years ago. I've been writing for over 20 years. I've written over 20 books on health and well-being. And it all started actually when I was a child. At 5 years old, I had a ear infection and a flu. And the flu had traveled to my brain, and I got encephalitis. The virus had traveled throughout my brain, and I ended up in a induced coma for 4 days. When when I was supposed to, they said if I made it through, that I would probably be paraplegic, and I would probably have severe brain damage. And when I came out, the first thing I asked for were McDonald's French fries. And
definitely brain damaged.
And I was very lucky because I had no brain damage. I was not paraplegic, but I did have epilepsy. I ended up with epilepsy, and to this day they cannot find the scar tissue damage in my brain that causes the epilepsy, but they know it's scattered throughout my brain because of the various types of seizures I was taking. I was taking all different kinds, and each type of seizure occurs in different parts of your brain, so that's how they knew that I had it throughout my entire brain. I had journeyed my entire life, going through life like a roller coaster, going through my ups and downs, and it was very hard. And I went through college, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to even handle college because of the late night study and the stresses. And I was having a lot of seizures. And I said, I wrote a letter into the Epilepsy Foundation, and I asked them to publish my letter, and I said, I have this disorder, and I don't know how to live with this. I said, what does everyone else do? How does people cope with this? Now, you remember back then we only had the libraries. We had when you had to do the internet came when I was in my junior year of college. That was when we had the dial-up and going, we didn't have the resources that we had today, and everything, there was about 5 books on the market at that time for epilepsy, and they were all written in medical terminology, and they just went right over your head. If you weren't a doctor and you weren't in the medical field, you had no idea what these doctors were trying to tell you. And, I got about 400 to 500 letters from all over the United States and Canada. People wrote to me about their own personal experience with epilepsy and how they dealt with it and, what they were doing. And at that point I realized I wasn't alone. And I realized that, that I could do it. If these people can do it, I can do it. And, I started to, I went through college. I worked for a big network when I got out of college, and they had one producer had saw me have a seizure. He walked right over me, and he kept walking. And 30 minutes later, I had lost my job. And not too long afterwards, I had spoken in front of Congress, and I was invited by the Epilepsy Foundation to speak in front of Congress, and I spoke in front of Congress about epilepsy. And I realized, and during this whole time, I remember Rush Holt, came out and he shook my hand afterwards, and he was the congressman in New Jersey, and he said, you brought back a lot of memories. My sister had epilepsy, and you don't realize it, but so many people have this disorder, and so many people have so many conditions that they struggle with, not just epilepsy, but everything. Everybody has something in life, and and when during this time I was writing a book, and I had stopped driving for 15 years while they were trying to control my seizures. They couldn't control them, and for 15 years I didn't drive, and I felt like I was in prison in my own home. So I started writing a book, and I took all these letters that people sent me, and I started applying a lot of the stuff they wrote to me in my own life. And then I also, I created a regimen. I changed my lifestyle, and during this time, I got a letter from somebody, and they said, I was on the verge of committing suicide, but I read your book, and I have hope. I have inspiration. I know I could do it. I said, ever since I've been listening to you, my life has changed. And at that point in my life, I realized that the power of words, the wisdom of knowledge can go so far in life. And I realized right then and there what my passion was and what my calling was. And that's when I focused on, health, and I focused on writing, and I was working with an herbalist, and I was doing a lot of research, and I started applying a lot of the research to my own life. And I went from having, 9 seizures a month to 6 seizures to 4 seizures to 3 to 2 to none. And I was doing a lot of the natural herbs and cleansings and detoxifications. I changed the way I ate. I changed my lifestyle, the way I slept. It was a whole lifestyle change. And this is what people have to realize, that if you want to feel better in life, if you want to lose weight, it's a lifestyle change. It's not just a quick fix, not just a quick fix like changing, all these diets out there. You have thousands and thousands of different diets out there. Everyone says that this is the one that's going to be the one to make you drop weight. Well, it's not just about, following all these miracles. If people tell you, you follow this and you're going to lose it right away, nothing is a quick fix in life. Everything takes time, and it's dedication, and it's time consuming, and it's a lifestyle change. That's the trick. It's not something that you do temporarily. It's something that you apply to your life. You change the way you're living, and you're living a healthier lifestyle, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
You hit on you
don't have a magic pill? What's up with that?
She hit on some really great things, though. She mentioned 2 things that I want to talk about. And I know there are several people out there in the audience whose children have the epilepsy, because we've talked about that on the show a few times. And I would love for her to let people know what she did. If there's a book or if there's some information, she can let our listening audience know about that, because that has to be one of the most traumatizing things to see. And I know even my daughter, her little boy, He has those seizures that they call grand mal seizures or something like that, where they say you'll grow out of them, but I do want to know what your regimen was. However, when you talk about a lifestyle change, a lot of times people will tell you, well, don't go on that diet because you'll have to do it for the rest of your life. But that's the facts. You will have to make that change for the rest of your life. So you definitely want to make sure that it's something you can handle and something that, is still nourishing your body at the same time. But lastly, you mentioned sleep. And I want you to talk a little bit about that because I think that sleep is really affecting us in more ways, the lack of sleep in more ways than we think. But go ahead. You can get started talking about this, why we can't lose weight.
Well, many people in our society, we're kind of, unfortunately, I feel like, so many people in our society, we're kind of, the way the food industry is going, it's harming everybody because, we live in a rush society. Everybody's on the go. Everybody's doing. You're working, you're doing things at home, you have a family, or you have kids and you're rushing from one event to the next event, and everybody's constantly doing something, and everyone's looking for a fast way to make food, or if you go to the food store, all these foods, they have so many artificial things, ingredients in them, and even chicken. Did you know they put arsenic in the chicken to make it plumper? There's so many, the dyes, most of the foods look very plain, but they in the food stores they have all these different colors, and they make it try to look more so marketable, so people will buy it. But all these dyes can cause cancer, and then you put all these things in your body, and your body's saying, "What's this? What do I do with this?" And they don't know what to do, and it gets, they can't break it down, so they store it in our body, and that's when your hormones start changing. That's when your organs aren't working as properly. It's storing a lot of toxins. It's storing a lot of things it's not supposed to, and your body is suffering. People will, either start to gain weight, they'll become sluggish, their thyroids will work slower, their livers, will start to have problems eventually down the road, and other organs will have stress on it, and you see changes. Even today, with the milk, they have so many different hormones, injected. If I read a book one time, and they show you what they do to the chickens and the cows, and if you read that book, you'd never want to eat another chicken or drink another glass of milk again, because the way they would put hundreds of cows in one little area, and they wouldn't even have room to move, and the hoofs would get even deformed because they would be pressed so tightly together, and they would get injected with antibiotics, and one cow would get sick, and then the next cow would get sick, and then they're making milk, and they're selling the milk with all these antibodies and all these harmful ingredients, and then you're seeing kids, girls that are 8, 9 years old, their bodies are changing, they're developing breasts, they're going through and getting their periods a lot earlier in life than they're supposed to. It's the hormones changing. It's because of all these things that are in our food, and it's changing the way we look, the way we feel, the way we think.
Now, Stacey, what was the name of that book?
The book for The Complete Herbal Guide is the book that I wrote on different supplements and alternative methods on how to heal the body naturally.
The one about cows.
Oh, that was a book that was written. It was Vegans or Vegetarians, and it was written by, I can't remember the author off the top of my head, but it was an excellent book. I could try to look it up for you and tell you, but she wrote an excellent book about it. But I will get the it's Vegetarian to Vegan. Give up dairy, give up eggs for good. That's what it was. And it was by Sarah Taylor. But, you don't have to turn to become a vegetarian or vegan. The information in it was really knowledgeable because she gave you an idea of what the food industry actually does. I'm not a 100% vegan or vegetarian, but I enjoyed the book because it actually taught me what really goes behind closed doors of a lot of these food industries and farms that, don't do things the right way.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I saw a video where, and I don't know that it's happening everywhere, but probably in enough places where when you were getting ground meat, they just threw the animal in there whole, sick. Some of them were, half dead. Some of them, they just took the whole animal, threw it in a sieve or something, whatever you might call it, and ground it up. And then it came out sausages and ground beef. And I tell you, 4 months I couldn't touch anything that I didn't recognize as meat.
Right.
But the weird part about it is that let a few months pass by, a few days, you start to wean off of it, and you'll start feeling like, well, all right, I'll taste that.
It wasn't so bad.
You'll forget about it. It's like you got to keep this stuff fresh in your mind because you can fall backward again. But, okay, so now you said that these things are staying in our body and stored as fat. And then they turn into things like cancer. So I know people, I can include myself in that I could live off of a bag of apples a week and I might gain a couple of pounds. What is it that we're doing? What is it that we can do to start to clean out? Because I know we talked about, now there are people that do a lot of fasting, and I applaud fasting. Like we said, there are some people that are going to do a lot of fasting. They have their own ways of doing things, and you do what you can to do these things. But like we talked about earlier, that fasting, if your body is too weak to fast, it can be dangerous for you. So what can you tell us on that level?
I've learned from my own experience that, I would, I think at a certain age we get to a plateau. And when we get to that plateau and as we get older, it's hard to lose weight. We're not in our 20s anymore. We're not dropping weight like we did. We have to work hard to lose weight. And as we get older, it's not as easy, and our body falls into a comfortable plateau, and it doesn't really want to budge. But, I was eating healthy, and I kept, I was sticking to all the greens and this and that. I was having these big salads, and, I was going on the scale, and I'm like, I'm not moving. Some days I'd be 2 pounds heavier, 1.5 pounds lighter, remain the same weight. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm eating so healthy. It was my portions. I was eating healthy foods, but I was eating too much. Because you know what the key is, and I've talked to so many women, and I found it's the portions we eat. You could eat so healthy, but if you're eating a ton, and really, you're not going to lose the weight. Like if you make yourself a salad, you're getting, and you instead of using a regular salad bowl, you're using one of those big salads that you would, those big bowls that they make, like a pasta bowl, and you're eating that salad. If you would pass out if you saw how many calories all that adds up to. We don't realize it, but it does. And every little ounce of dressing we put on there, if you look in the back of a dress, even the low-calorie dressings, or even, you look in the back and you see what a tablespoon of those dressings are, because it'll say X amount of calories, and then in the small letters it'll say per tablespoon, or and then you're thinking about how you got 14 grams of fat per tablespoon, and you're just putting that dressing all over your salad. You've gone over your 20 grams of fat. You're done. You're done for 5 days, and you just thought you ate a healthy salad. Then you're going on the scale and say, why am I not dropping weight? It's so easy, but yet so hard. You know what I mean? We don't realize what we actually put in our mouth. And you know what? I went to Europe a couple of years ago, and the portions are so small. And, I was actually getting full on these portions. They were nothing like American-sized portions. And, I was getting full. At first, when I had my first meal, and I was in Italy, and it was as big as my palm, and I'm like, I'm going to get full on this, and and I ate it, and I did get full. And you know why? Because everything was fresh. There's a difference when you eat processed foods, and there's a difference when you eat whole, fresh food. It plays on your body different. You feel different. And then I guarantee you, if you eat healthy for a month and then you start going off and you start going back to your old ways, you're going to feel it in your stomach. You're not going to feel right. Your stomach's going to feel heavy. You're not going to feel good, because your body gets so used to eating healthy and it's working right and it's working the way it's supposed to, and then you start putting back all these things into your body again, then your body has to work 2, 3, 4 times harder than it did before, and you're stressing your body out.
You are so right. I've experienced that because I had just come off of a complete detox, lost a lot of weight, cleaned up. Everything was working well. Then I decided, okay, I'm going to have some yogurt, some dairy yogurt, which I had taken out of my life completely. And I don't know how you feel about dairy, but dairy, when I ate it, and I'm telling you, the gas that was in my stomach, like that, immediately I got sick. And I was like, oh, my goodness, my stomach, I felt bloated. And then I had to go and figure out how to get back in, where I was. But You're so right. You will immediately feel sick. You will immediately feel these things happening to you because these are stimulants that you're putting back in your body. Yeah.
Right.
So, and you're right about the portions, too, because definitely when it's good food, that it's nourishing and satisfying. But even when they used to get on those airplanes and they give you that tiny little plate of food, I'm like, are they nuts? Who's gonna be happy after they eat this plate of food? And you eat that small plate of food, and you might not be happy, but you really were no longer hungry. You were really okay. And so we don't need those portions. And so my next question is, where did the 3 meals a day come from? Are we supposed to eat 3 meals a day?
Honestly, they tell you to eat 4 or 5, and they tell you to break it down into small portions. They say that it's not just, morning is supposed to be your most important meal, and a lot of people tell me they don't like to have big meals in the morning. But if you have a healthy meal in the morning and that's satisfying to you, you'll notice that you won't be as hungry throughout the day. When you don't eat a good breakfast, you're going to see yourself, you're craving for food in between snacks. You start to get, you eat more than you're supposed to. And you really should eat 4, I like to eat like 4 little meals a day. And I break it down, and it's, and I eat until my body says, okay, I'm full. And you have to train yourself to know, you really have to start listening to your body. Your body talks to you. Your body gives you signs. The problem is that we don't listen to our bodies all the time. Our bodies are always talking to us. You get intuitions, and your body will give you little signs here and there. But the thing is, we have to start listening to our bodies. When you start feeling a little bit full, and you can feel yourself feeling a satisfied feeling. I'm not saying the full feeling, the satisfied feeling. It takes you about 15 minutes to digest your food. So you're going to feel even fuller in 15 minutes later. So you have to know when to say, all right, I had enough, and then give yourself time to digest. And if you're a little hungry, go back and take a bite or 2 more. But give yourself time to digest, and eating slow is the key. Too many people eat so fast they don't realize how much they're eating. They don't give themselves time to digest, and they ate more than they're supposed to. But if they ate slow and they gave their body time to digest, I guarantee you they would have ate probably a lot less than they did.
And I know you're right. We're in a society that promotes eating all day.
Yeah.
You mentioned the thing about the airplane ride. Why is it that we can't go 2 hours without throwing something in our mouth? I mean, I'm real serious about this. Like, we're not hungry. We're just noshing.
Right.
And I'm so guilty of that. It's ridiculous. But I just wanted to say that I had been, really, really strict with my diet with the vegan side. And I went away this weekend and there was nothing to eat. And so we ordered some food from a Thai restaurant. Oh, my God.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you something.
I love Thai
The
food.
meat, though, was, I've noticed, like, the meat is smelling weird to me now since I haven't been eating it. I don't know if that's possible, but the chicken is smelling weird. Maybe,
Well,
maybe the olfactory is getting more sensitive. The nose and the taste buds.
Oh, you definitely become more sensitive. You start, your taste buds start to change, your cravings start to change, the way you think about food starts to change, because certain foods will trigger you to want more sugar, and certain foods will trigger you to want more caffeine. Certain things trigger things in the brain that cause you to change the way you want to eat.
Okay. All right. Do you? Go ahead, sure.
So technically, we need to, number one, change our lifestyle. We need to clean out because we're loaded with toxins. How can we go about that?
For me, what I did is I did a whole body cleanse and I did a colon cleanse. I like the colon cleanse because, believe it or not, you hold between 12 to 15 pounds of toxins in your colon. And a lot of it stays there, and you don't realize, the amount, all those toxins, how much it stresses your body, and the amount of stress it puts on your body. When I started doing the
colon cleanse, what was that?
I took I would use different types of colon cleanses, which were capsules, and I would do a fiber. I would do the colon cleanse, and I would do milk thistle, which cleanses out the liver, and then I would do a whole body cleanse, which cleanses out the entire body. It cleanses out all the toxins. It works on all your proper organs, and it just flushes you out. And you drink a lot of water, and you're taking your fiber pill, you're taking your milk thistle, and and you're starting to change the way you eat. You're eating healthier. You're putting more water in your diet. You need to drink water. That's a must. You have to constantly give yourself a lot of water. Water is the key also to losing weight. You can't just, the more coffee we drink, the more dehydrated we get. Some people just drink coffee, then they drink a nice sugar drink or a soda, and they're killing their bodies. The key is to try to drink water. If you're not crazy, some people don't like water. Put a little bit of flavor in it. You can buy one of those little packets and drop a little flavor into your water just to give it a little taste if you're not a big water person. But you got to keep yourself fluid, and you got to keep yourself hydrated. And then you do these cleanses, but you're eating normally, but you're just changing the way you're eating. You're starting to, you're eating the foods you like, but you're eating healthier foods, and you're eating smaller portions. You're eating throughout the day, and you got to cut those carbs. We love those in-between snacks, all those carbs, they destroy our bodies, and you're never going to lose weight. If you're a big carb eater, you like your bread, you like your pasta, you like your little chips, it's going to be, you're not going to be able to lose the weight. It's just going to stick on you, and it's not going to budge.
I agree with you. Now, so do you recommend any specific whole body cleanses on your site, or do you have anything in your book that you talk about that someone could use to help cleanse out your body? And then I want you to tell me, how do you feel about colonics, and what kind of water do you drink?
I like, I have things on the website. We have over 3,000 articles on our website, and we cover everything. We cover fitness, and we cover different alternative methods, different ways of eating, different exercises and different cleanses, detoxifications. And people can go on there, and they can, and they can get a lot of information on, different ways and different things that we like on the website that people have tried and have had good responses. I have used different things, but I do love milk thistle. I use it all the time. For me, I like, you keep fiber in your diet. I do like a monthly cleanse, And, these are things that I like to do that I find successful for myself. And there, you can also get detoxification teas. Some people, they have like some really good teas out there, and dandelion is a great detoxification. You buy some dandelion tea, that's really good, and then they have some teas that are mixed with different herbs, like dandelion, and, they have, different herbs that are actually very good for detoxification as well.
Okay, so what is your website so that you can tell our listeners where they can go to look for this information?
It's thecompleteherbalguide.com, and it has everything, every resource. We have a lot of doctors that come on, write articles. We have a lot of professionals that come on and write articles and share their knowledge. So it's a great website. It has everything from yoga to fitness to acupuncture, chiropractic. It talks about all the different things that you could do to help improve your health naturally.
Okay. Now, your book, was that written with you and your husband?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I brought it up and I was like, who's this guy? Right, but then I saw he had the same last name. Okay.
Okay, so what kind of water do you drink?
I like purified water. I have purifiers on my faucets. I have it in my refrigerator. I use the cleansers. When you put the water in, and it cleansifies the water. Like I was mentioning, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about the water bottles. Yes. Water bottles has become a very big issue because, when the heat hits the plastic, toxic, chemicals come out from the plastic, and it's going into the water, and it could cause a lot of problems. They're saying that it could really hurt your body long term. Like I said, it's really hard to choose because then people are buying all these different types of thermals that they say are safe. But then, if you did a laboratory test to see how much bacteria is inside of them, because even when you clean it well, it's still not as clean as you think, unless you put it under a microscope, you'll see the bacteria and all the other stuff. So it's a no-way-win situation. So I do use the water bottles. I keep them in a pantry, so it's temperature safe, and it's not, in the sunlight and stuff like that. And the kids bring them to school with them. But, it's really, it's hard, Even the purified water, they did laboratory tests, and they found chemicals in a lot of these brands, that it wasn't as purified as they claimed it to be. So, it's really hard. The best you can do is do your best, and, there's no perfect answer for any of this stuff that we're discussing. It's trying to be the healthiest you can, be the best you can within your own means. That's going to work for you.
Okay, so tell me what you did to get rid of, what kind of diet do you have that you actually got rid of this epilepsy? Because I find that usually when there's something wrong, it's just a symptom. Most things are all one disease. It's mucus. It's what do you call it? Inflammation. And
find the root cause.
There you go. And everything is a spin-off of it. So if you healed yourself, how did you heal? Was it a lot of fluids? Was it herbs? I know it had to be a host of things, but what did you do?
Well, I continued to take my medication. I never stopped my medication. And, some people, they play around with their medication. I tell them never to do that. Most of the epilepsy drugs, your body becomes addicted to it. And, unless you're working with your doctor, you should never stop taking your medication. You should always work with your doctor and talk to your doctor and tell your doctor what you want to do and what your needs are and what your thoughts are, and work together with your doctor. And also, you have to make sure when you play with supplements, when you play with supplements, you also have to realize a lot of these supplements are just as strong as medication, and most of the medications have supplements in them. You know, pharmaceutical companies have a lot of medications that were used for medications itself. So these supplements we take now that are over the counter, we have to be very, very careful because they are very strong, and a lot of them can interact with other medications. So you have to make sure before you start taking these drugs, these supplements, that it doesn't interact if you're taking a cholesterol medication or heart medication or epilepsy medication or depression medicine. These are all strong medications that can interact with certain supplements. And, for me, I had to make sure that, it didn't interact. I did my research, and I also confirmed with my doctor, and when I started doing the detoxification is when I noticed a huge difference. I started to see my seizures got a lot better when I started cleansing my body and detoxifying my body. I also changed my sleep patterns because sleep is very important. A lot of people who suffer from sleep, tend to, get seizures with epilepsy. So sleep is very important. You also have to make sure that you try to live, as less stress as possible. So it's creating a lifestyle that works for you. Stress is impossible to avoid, but if we try to create life, the best way we can, and stay away from the trauma and the negativity, that's one way of doing it. I think what saved me is being positive all my life. I never looked at the negative. I always looked at the positive. I always kept the positive people around me, and I stopped bothering with the negative, and I believe that the negative energy, brings negative things to you. Positive energy brings positive things to you. And I just, you have to constantly, be positive and just keep, where there's a will, there's a way, and you just keep chugging along. And, it's the way we think plays a big role on our health as well. I'm a firm believer of that. You see people, even when people go into the old age homes and they get very depressed, you'll see their health starts to deteriorate very quickly. Why is that? Because our mind, the way we think, plays on how our bodies react as well. Stress is one of the main causes of illness. Most illnesses are contributed by stress. Most of the illnesses occur from stress. So it shows you how much stress can actually hurt your body. And if you look it up, you'll see the statistics about stress and health and how many illnesses are caused by stress. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, yes, because the stress creates an acidic environment in your body. And that creates mucus, and that creates acid, and oh my goodness, and you can feel it. You get that burn inside of you, and you can literally feel it when your body is becoming acidic. And so I think that we as Bible believers, we really have to take that Bible more at its word when it says, think on these good things. People today they say positive thinking, but the scripture says if there's anything honest, if there's anything above board, if there's anything of good report, think on these things. We're already commanded to do that. So that's what we need to start making sure we're doing, because that's going to help our health too. Okay. Carol, you have anything you want to ask? I know there's a lot when we start talking about diet. What diet do you recommend?
Oh, you're talking to me? What diet I recommend?
Yeah, I said Carol. I realized I said Carol. I call my daughter Carol.
Is it Cat?
It's Stacey. I meant you. What diet do you recommend?
What I did for myself, I think trying to eat more greens, more healthy foods in your diet, bringing in, if you like fish, fish is an excellent resource of food that's healthy for the body. And I actually, when I started eating more fish, I noticed my pounds started dropping. And and there's different ways if you like fish, or if you're not a big fish eater, there's lots of different recipes out there. If you go on the internet that make fish actually very tasty and very very good to eat, and it's also very good for your body. You have your omega, 3, and you have your your fishy oils, and it's really healthy for the body. Greens are very healthy, and the greener the vegetable, the healthier it is. And vegetables are really good. Fruits are really good. Chicken. When I eat chicken, I like to eat organic chicken. I notice a big difference when I eat a regular piece of chicken. If I eat a regular piece of chicken and I eat organic chicken, when I eat the regular chicken, I go up in weight. And that's water weight, water retention, because my body can't break it down, because it's all those impurities in the chicken that my body is fighting. So then you have inflammation that you're dealing with, and then so, but when I eat organic chicken, I don't get inflamed. I don't get the inflammation in my body or the water weight. So it tells you when you're buying, you don't have, they say eat organic, but organic is expensive, and not everybody has the money to eat everything organic. You go out of an organic food store, you can come out with a little bag and end up spending $80, and you look inside the bag and you're like, what did I buy? I didn't buy anything, and especially if you have a big family, you can't afford to do that. So really, you have to. The important things I tell people, like the chickens and bananas do not need to be organic, in my opinion. I believe, they tell you like grapes and stuff that's made in the farms, those things should be organic, because all those pesticides and the stuff that they put on it when they're harvesting, you want to stay away from all that stuff. So, certain things you have to use common sense and try to go with the healthier way. And then, eggs I always buy for myself. I always buy my family organic eggs, because there's so many antibiotics and so many hormones that they were putting in the eggs, and it was, so many people had a lot of problems because of the eggs. So I suggest organic eggs. You might be spending, $2 more, and it might be a little expensive, between $5 and $6 for a case of eggs. But if you really want those eggs and you want to be healthy, it's your health. So you have to some things you have to sacrifice a little bit. But I was just going to say, you just have to eat that. You have to start eating more healthy. You have to start breaking down your portions. And if you have, meat is not the greatest thing to eat when you're trying to be healthy. But you don't have to. If you like meat, you don't have to cut it out of your diet. You just you cut it down, and and the less meat you have, I guarantee you won't miss it at all, and you won't want it as much anymore, because it lays so heavy on your stomach. After a while, you don't want to really eat meat that much anymore. Gradual changes.
Okay. So, but that does help. And if you were able to help yourself, and this is what we were talking about with all the health gurus that we've come across. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different spin, but there are positive results for all of them. And so if we get started somewhere, folks, if we get on this regimen where maybe you don't want all raw food, or maybe you can't let go of that meat, so then get that organic, eat less of it, because we can't afford it. That's for sure. And smaller portions is key here also, like you mentioned. So if we're going to eat smaller portions, then we can spend less money on food because we're eating less. But I tell you, food, it's like I have an oral fixation. I love eating all day long. I do. I just love eating. But I had to get that under control because my weight was not interested in the idea of eating all day. And I think your stomach needs a rest. Your stomach has to. Yeah. So if your stomach can rest, you might be able to turn your health around, Right. So, okay, I would like to bring in some of the listeners. Anyone out there that has a question for Stacey, she can tell you, what's on her website. What's the name of your book again, Stacey?
It's The Complete Herbal Guide, and the website is thecompleteherbalguide.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I just want to say this. I'm looking at the website, and I see a whole bunch of very interesting articles. But what I'd love is if you could talk a little bit about your book. Tell us what's in it and why it would be something that we would want to purchase. And also some of the products that are on your site, like the Hemp Lucid CBD Review, Red Strap CBD and Hemp Oil. You want to talk to us about that? I mean, I'm really interested in hemp, as you can tell.
Oh, sure. But with my book, I studied that book. I researched for years. It took me about 5 years of research to put that book together. It has over 500 pages. And what I did is I took hundreds and hundreds of different herbs, and I broke it down, so people could understand very easily what each herb was about, what it does, and, the history about it, and how each herb can heal different conditions. Because many years ago, back in the day, this is what they used to heal people. They used the herbs, and to this day, they still use it. Chinese medicine is really big. People from India are very big on spices, and, turmeric is that's huge, and now everybody uses it. It's become worldwide, and that's great for inflammation. It's great for other things, and there are so many different herbs and spices and different exercises and different ways to get healthy that people just don't know a lot about. And this book tells you everything. It tells you about the herbs. It tells you about the different alternative methods that you can resort to when you're not feeling well. Or if you're trying to prevent something, you might have an illness in the family that it's genetic. A lot of people have gotten it, and maybe your family's big on heart disease, and you don't want to be one of those people, and you want to keep a healthy heart. Well, the book will show you different ways to be, heart healthy. It'll teach you, different ways to prevent yourself from possibly ever getting a heart attack or stroke, and different foods and different things that actually could help you. Same thing with diabetes or, cancer and all the other things. All the other, we can go down the line, cholesterol and all the other stuff that, haunts our bodies, that so many people suffer from. And, between the website and my book, these are things that you can go to that actually will help you, either prevent or help you, get healthy, or just maintain optimal health for the rest of your life.
That's wonderful.
So what is this Hemp Lucid CBD stuff?
Yeah, well, I'm very big on it because CBD is huge. I'm, for the it's been showing a lot of people. It's been helping people with epilepsy. It's been helping people with cancer, chronic pain people. Now the beauty industry has gotten into it because it's very good for your skin. People with anxiety, it helps to calm the body. It's like taking a natural Xanax. When you get nervous or anxious, you could take CBD oil, and it doesn't get you high. There's no THC in it. And, so you're just getting the CBD, and the CBD actually it relaxes the body, relaxes the mind, and it actually, for people that have chronic pain, it blocks the pain receptors in the brain that say, I am in pain. And when and if it blocks that, you're not feeling the pain because you feel pain, and automatically that pain goes to your brain, and it's telling your brain, hey, I have pain. And then your brain, they're sending messages back and forth. Well, the CBD is blocking it, so you don't feel the pain. You're not getting that message, and your body is actually experiencing less pain. And they're finding that CBD is good for so many things, and it's and the pharmaceutical companies are now getting into it, and they just, one of the pharmaceutical companies just passed a drug for a CBD for epilepsy, for severe cases of epilepsy. I was just at a meeting the other day, and they were talking about epilepsy and children and how CBD is actually helping people. There was one little girl, she was having hundreds of seizures. Her parents started giving her CBD, and her seizures, she still has seizures, but very few now. So it's become a very big thing, and there's still a stigmatism in the United States because when people think of CBD, automatically they think of marijuana and they think of drugs and they think bad, but it's not. CBD is very good for the body in many ways, and it could actually help people feel better and get healthier.
Okay, that's great. All right, let's bring in a caller. area code 646. Area code 646, you're on the air. Area code 646, you're on the air.
Hi. Thank you so much for coming on the radio show.
Mm-hmm. How are you? Okay.
I'm great. I'm fortunate enough to live in an area where actually there are farms nearby. I actually just went to one of my first farmers markets today, so this radio show is very timely. I've been eating a lot healthier. I'm a college student, so sometimes I don't have a lot of time to make all of these healthy meals, but I try my best. And my question is, I personally do not own a microwave, but because I take food to work, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the microwave situation.
Well, there's a lot of different meals that you could do for, like salads is one of them. You could chop up different things for salads. My daughter loves to make an avocado dip, and she makes the avocado dip, and she gets different like flatbreads and different little things that she brings with her. And the avocado dip it's healthy for your body, and it stays well in the refrigerator, and you can actually eat it cold. And there are also different types of chicken salads you can make that actually taste good cold, and you don't have to heat it up in the microwave if you don't want to. So there's lots of different recipes, and actually on our website we have some articles for college students who want to be healthy and are constantly on the go, because between your classes and all the running around and the studying and the projects, it's like, when do you have time? You just want to grab a Dunkin' Donuts and run. But we do have like lots of articles on to teach you different recipes and different things, and you could even make smoothies. Like if the night before, if you wanted to put together a smoothie in a blender, you could put together different fruits and vegetables and put it together, even like a little spinach if you like spinach, or you could put some different fruits in it and make yourself a smoothie. Make it like a frozen one, and then put it in the refrigerator, grab it, and by the time your class is over, you could drink it. It could be kind of like, a latte,
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put you back in the queue. Thank you. If anybody else has a question.
So based on your answer, I would assume you're saying bah humbug to the microwave, right?
Well, I had a writer on my website. She was an MD. She was a doctor, and she ended up with lung cancer. And she swore up and down, she wrote for all the top national magazines, and she was an excellent doctor. She wrote her own book. I still have her on my website, even though she had passed. But she came down with lung cancer. She fought it for a while, but she swore it was the radiation of the microwave itself that actually did it to her. It was just she saw her body declining, and we don't realize it. There's a lot of things we use that have radiation, and she was very big on her beliefs, and she believed that the microwave was one of the things, because there's so much radiation, and when you're heating up your food in the microwave, that radiation is going into your food. So it's they even tell you don't stay close to the microwave when you're microwaving something. So if you can't stay close to the microwave while the microwave is going on, how good can it actually be while the food is in the microwave? It's like we're all a culprit, because I use a microwave, and but really when you come down to the science behind it, you think about the logic, we're a fast, we need a quick society, and really if we can take the time just to be, we want to be healthy, we want to look good, we don't want illness, but nobody wants to take the time to actually stop and actually do the work to be healthy, and that's what we have to, think, preparing our meals. Some people preparing their meals in the beginning of the week, and they keep it in the refrigerator and the freezer. You'll see a lot of the old Italian women, they freeze everything, and then they take it out, and then they heat it up, and and they go the whole week, and there's different ways you can do it, where you can prepare everything maybe on a Sunday and go throughout, keep some food in the refrigerator, some food in the freezer, and just utilize it.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about what you actually eat, and Shirley, if you had something that was really pertaining to where she was at.
Well, I was just going to say, as far as the microwave is concerned, I know that when my daughter learned about it, she threw it out, and then her husband drug it back in the house, and then she cut the cord off and put it back out. And he could, that was the only way. It was the only way to control it. And so, because the funny thing, what I was going to say is when we eat out, and oh my goodness, if we could learn to not eat out, if we could learn that, that's a huge lesson, because they microwave many things in the restaurants, fast food places that we don't know is being microwaved.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking what you said when you talked about that the microwave you don't want to be in the room. But it's not just so much in the room. You're telling me it's in the food, too.
Right. Just like think about the water bottles. The water bottle gets heated up, and the chemicals go into the water. Now, the food is in the microwave where the radiation is going all over the place. Where do you think that radiation is going? There's nothing to block that radiation from the food, so it's going in our food. We're consuming it, whether it's
I keep saying it. So locusts and wild honey, everybody. We got that? That's our diet from now on. All right, Carol, you're going to say something. Go ahead and say it, and then I'm going to bring in another call. And if anybody out there wants to ask Stacey a question or has a comment or can bring it, whatever you have, just press 1, get into the host queue. We'll bring you in tonight. The board is wide open. So go ahead, Stacey.
I wanted to know basically what you like to eat. And also, if you could talk a little more about your book in the sense of how do you have it broken down? Do you know, like we know there are some common diseases, right? We know that a lot of us are dealing with diabetes, some cancer, some high blood pressure, some, as you mentioned, high cholesterol. How would you tell someone, what would you tell someone if they came to you and said, listen, I am dealing with diabetes, what would you tell them to do? Go buy my book, or would you say, let's get started with this, or that?
I would probably tell them, let's get started with this, or that. My book is out there. I'm not here to sell the book. I'm here to help people. So, the book is always out there to break it down and to give them information when I'm not there, to help them out. But they have to realize, basically, I did actually, I broke the Complete Herbal Guide talks about all different herbs and all different natural alternatives. And what I did is I had written another book called Natural Cures for Common Conditions. And what I did is I took all the main diseases and disorders, and I talked about what different supplements and what different herbs and different spices that actually help these different conditions. But with diabetes is something that just tears the entire body apart. It's a terrible disease, and it eventually destroys everything. But for people who have it, the first thing they need to do is they need to really look at their diet and look at what they're eating, and they really need to, cut down on the sugar. And when you think about sugar, the fruit, it has a lot of sugar in it. Bananas are full of sugar. They're great for you. They actually even help depression, but they're full of sugar. So when you're eating a lot of sugar, I had one friend of mine that, she was a big fruit eater. She kept eating fruit, and she was gaining weight, and she didn't realize why she was gaining so weight. But she was eating tons of fruit, and it was converted into sugar. So it was the sugar. When you have a high content of sugar, it converts to fat. So you have to really, when you have diabetes, you have to really look at your diet. Even though something might be healthy, how much sugar does it have? And then you have to try to, eat healthier. Eat, like we talked about, more greens, more fruit. Less fruit, more vegetables, and exercise. And you have to do some exercise. You have to exercise the body. Some people, if they have trouble, exercising, then they need to just, create a diet that is, workable and that, that works for them. Some people like stretching. Some people, feel that, like Zen yoga is really good because you stretch, you circulate the body. When you're stretching, you're increasing the blood, which actually, helps with pain, that you might be experiencing. But for people with diabetes, and when they changed their diet and they added exercise to their life, it was a huge change in a lot of them. You only need to do a little bit to change, to see improvement. But I know several people who had diabetes, and they changed their lifestyle, and they were actually able to get off the diabetes medicine.
Okay. All right. I'm going to bring in another caller. Area code 917. You're on the air, and I see another 917 after that. But anyone else that wants to press 1, get into the host queue, our call is here to talk with you. Go ahead, Stacey.
Good evening.
Hi. How are you?
Yes, good. Doing good, and you?
Good.
All right.
All right. Yeah. This evening I called because, I don't know if you ever heard of GOCC, but usually they have some type of show around this time. But just so happened you guys are you're speaking on health. Which is a topic I'm also interested in. This week on the new moon, I'm planning on doing a fast. And like I said, just so happened you both are speaking on health. And I think, fasting is definitely a miracle worker, because it definitely helps, detox the body and fight any type of, diseases within the body and eliminate it.
What's your name?
My name is
brother?
Will.
Will. Hi, Will. I do want you to know that you have reached GOCC. This is Sister Shirley, in case you're interested.
Oh, this is GOCC?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You just brought on someone to talk about health, because that's a serious situation in our congregations. And so
most definitely.
Stacey's bringing in just another vision of how we can heal ourselves. We definitely believe in fasting. What we talked about a little earlier on in the show is how sometimes if your body is too weak to fast, how can you control and get yourself cleaned up? And sometimes herbs and things like that can help to clean out and build at the same time, whereas sometimes fasting, when you begin to fast, the toxins break loose very swiftly. And if your body's too weak to handle the crisis, the healing crisis, it could be difficult. So we were looking at as many forms of healing and help that we can. But yes, indeed, sir, we do believe in fasting and appreciate what you're bringing.
Yeah, I want to throw in something else, Charles. I want to, first of all, that was just funny when you said GOCC. That's hysterical.
We laughed.
But it's a thought that came in my head when you said that sometimes the body is too weak. And if you look at people in countries where they're actually starving to death, they're literally starving to death, and I don't know if they keep up their illnesses with it. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you said, if the body's too, it can't help itself.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes you're even overweight and you are starving because you're not getting the proper nutrition. So, but truthfully, when the scripture says some of these things don't come out but by prayer and fasting. So sometimes, yes, you do have to start fasting and cleansing, but a lot of it's spiritual too that we're talking when you say some of these things don't come out but by prayer and fasting. But I truly believe healing does come from fasting, but everything taken in its time. Okay.
Yeah, like for instance, Haiti is concerned is considered a third world country, but last in February I visited Haiti for 2 weeks, and on the countryside of Haiti, which is very beautiful and very rich in natural resources and minerals, the people there are the healthiest and the most beautifulest, yeah, from the skin tone to everything, and but when you're in the U.S., they make it seem as if it's there are bad parts, but for the most part, like Haiti got all the natural resources, and people out there are eating natural, and they seem healthy to me for at least for the 2 weeks that I was there.
Yeah, so they're like closer to Whole Foods, but in the West, we are very, very used to eating processed food. We walk into grocery stores, we grab boxes, we grab bags. Very little is fresh. Very little.
Yeah, and the thing is,
go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go right ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to add to the fact when you go into the grocery store, there's usually like only a couple of areas that you can even consider food. All that stuff that's in boxes is processed food. And like Stacey said to us, because we keep eating that stuff, we're sticking these things in our body, and our body doesn't even know what to do with it. So it stuffs it in a corner and stores it as fat, because we technically started off talking about how we could get this excess weight off our bodies. And so we're learning and we're getting it, but we really have to put it into action. And that's the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. The action is the hard part. But being that we're all adults, we just gotta apply that discipline. I mean, we all know right from wrong. We know, like for instance, pizza. Dairy was a hard thing for me to stay away from, because pizza was from childhood to adulthood. It was it's a fun food, and it's very addictive. And yeah, I mean, we just gotta make that choice. Like, we know it no longer serves us. I mean, although it tastes good, it's good to the taste buds, but it's nothing. Is nothing good internally is doing.
This is so true.
Right.
You got your white flour. You've got your dairy, the cheese that's loaded with sodium, right? And then you've got a can of tomato sauce that has enough salt in it to choke a maggot. And so the thing about it is that it's really bad, but you could make yourself a nice pizza out of some other stuff. If you had to have it, you could make that. Am I right, Stacey?
Definitely.
Cut up some raw tomatoes, make a crust out of, I would say, cauliflower, even though Dr. Sebi says no. You can make some cauliflower crust.
Yeah.
And or garbanzo beans,
Another thing, like what I noticed also, like you said, some of the stuff we buy are, to me, like, the ginger that they have in the markets now, and or even the limes and the lemons. When I went to Haiti, or say at I'm originally from St. Martin. Now, when you look at the ginger and the limes over there, they're very small. But when you come over here, everything is like big. I mean, I don't know what they're doing it. Maybe it's the genetically modified thing they're doing.
GMO.
Yeah, GMO, exactly. You see the gingers, how fake they look. I mean, they're so fat. Yeah. Everything is big, and even the limes. But when you go to other places, everything is like small and like natural.
What do you say about that GMO stuff, Stacey?
Well, you notice a lot of the food goes bad very quickly, and they put a lot of the stuff like carrots, for instance. They dip carrot with I believe it's chlorine, and to make it last longer, because they and a lot of times when you buy those carrots and you start seeing the white on the side, that's the chlorine that you're seeing. So they do use a lot of like impure things to make the food plumper and bigger and last longer. So it's like you really have to be careful what you're buying, and some a lot, you'd be surprised what they put on these foods.
So are you saying we just need to like get up out of the U.S. and go somewhere more natural?
Go hide in
all in good time. All in good time, Will, because, let me tell you something. We've had a few people on our show that got up and got out of here, and they're back here because we're all very, very spoiled, and we have to get this out of our heart before we go anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
What it is, people don't want to start from scratch, like for instance, a lot of people talking about how Ghana are accepting Americans and people from the Caribbean to, they'll accept us, to have us become, citizens and, do whatever over there,
Well, I'd like to interview a few people that have done it. I'd like to see some people that have done it and how their response is, because it's not so much that we can't get up and go. We can get up and go someplace out there. People in the United States too that are living off the grid. But you know what the problem is? Sometimes we are not mentally ready. Just like when we go to the Feast of Tabernacles, when we out camping, it's very hard not to bring that air bed and a heater and an air conditioner.
Like you just said. Like you said earlier, a lot of us are spoiled in the U.S. So like I said, a lot of us don't want to go somewhere else and start from scratch because we're so used to this, what it is here. But
I want to bring in another caller, but if you have another question, go ahead. I got another caller in the queue, but go ahead.
Okay, I'll leave, and but so just before I go, I wanted to say, so I'm on this new moon, I'm gonna start this fast to do this detoxing, and
that sounds good.
I pray that it works. Another thing I wanted to add is sea moss. Sea moss has like 90 to 92% of minerals, of which 102 that the body. So sea moss is definitely another good source of which is beneficial to the body, that'll help in fighting any type of diseases and rebuilding the body.
It's a superfood. It really is. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Hang on, Will. I'm going to put you back in the queue and bring in another caller. Thanks so much for calling in.
All right.
Hang in.
Good.
All right. Area code 917. We're going to bring you in. Area code 917. You're on the air.
Hi, everybody. Shalom.
How are you? How you doing, babe?
I'm good. I'm sorry. What's your name again? The guest caller? I'm sorry.
I'm Stacey.
Stacey. Hi, Stacey. I'm Rebecca. So I just wanted to ask you some questions because I'm a senior in high school and I'm about to start applying for college soon. So recently, but 4 years ago, my mother got sick from MS, and ever since she got sick, I've been on this journey with her of how to get better, and I've been going to doctor's appointments with her, meeting up with herbalists, nutritionists, just different doctors that will basically help her how to get better. So in between her going to these different doctors, I basically had this desire to become my own natural doctor or to go to college to become one. So I just wanted to know your advice on where should I start now, the fact that this desire is very fresh and I'm not really sure about the course or how to just get a degree in it or get certified to even prescribe herbs or medication. So, because recently I just did research on how to become a naturopathic doctor, and that's basically a regular doctor, but it's very rare to get the license. You would have to go to the West Coast or Canada to get the license or go to the college. So I just want to do something now so I can get my feet wet or just shadow somebody or just be in a program that could give me the experience of how to work with people or be somebody's health coach, or just simple stuff do my own research so I could at least give the knowledge to my friends and family. So I want to know where is the best way I could start, and if there is a process that I could go through that's the easiest, fastest, and efficient.
I think, like my daughter's a senior in high school too, and she's going through the same stuff you're going through. And, you tell her too, the best thing to do is to join different organizations and to help out and to volunteer and get your feet wet in a few different things that you're really interested in, and get a feel for the atmosphere. Work in an area, maybe a clinic where, they can, put you somewhere where you can actually see what's going on and you can actually learn from the people around you. And even to volunteer, that's the best way to, not only are you helping people and making a difference, but you're learning at the same time. You're meeting people from all walks of life, and depending where you volunteer, and you could help people. They have MS organizations where you can, become an advocate, and you can start working with these people, and you'd be amazed at how much you can learn by joining these organizations and helping out. The best way to learn is to be around the community and people with MS, and then even the community with, you'll meet people, you meet doctors, you'll meet people in the community, and you'll see and hear about the research when it's fresh and just out there, and you'll learn about things that you didn't even know. And that's the greatest way to educate yourself and to actually to learn is to start getting your feet wet by going out there and start volunteering and being a part of society and doing things to help others. And you'll learn from your experience, and then you'll learn a lot of stuff from the people that run these organizations and that are part of these organizations.
Okay. That's a really good idea. Oh. I'm going to say this. That's a really good idea, and you need to really take that seriously, because I know a few people that invested in subjects, medical field, hair, whatever, cosmetology, spent lots of money, and then graduated and did not even take the exams to become licensed, because they actually hated the field. They hated it. So getting involved and being able to really test to see, is this something I really want to do? It's a good idea. So go ahead, say what you're going to say, Becky.
But no, it's just that I feel like now that I did my research on the field itself, I'm really eager to like you said, volunteer or do programs and stuff like that. Like recently, I just found this program called Health Coach Institution, where you could become a health coach in 6 months. But you have to pay one fee for the tuition and stuff like that. So I'm finding different stuff like that, because Sister Shirley said, people go to school for 8 years, 10 years, and then they end up not actually pursuing what they went to school for. And I don't want to be those people. I want to actually get my feet wet, learn what I have to learn, and then present it to my friends and family. So that's why, I asked what's the best and efficient way to get the knowledge, but you don't have to go through the headache of going to school. And I obviously have to go to school, but the headache of doing the long process of you have to go to school, but plus you got to do other extracurricular, studies and stuff like that,
But it's worth it. All that studying and all, taking all those classes, it's going to get you on the right path. It's going to educate you. It's going to give you the knowledge that you need. You're going to learn stuff, and and these teachers in these colleges that are going to be teaching these classes are going to make you think out of the box. Their job is, not just to teach you what's in the notebooks, but is to make you look outside the box and to really get a feel from seeing things from all different aspects, all walks of life. And you'll be able to, by going to school, you'll get something you won't be able to get anywhere else. College is if you can afford to go to college, it's a great chance to really explore something you'll never have the opportunity to explore, because the things you learn in college, it's different when you get in the working world, but they prepare your mind for things that, they open your mind, and they make you see the world in ways that you would never have seen it, and that's what these professors are taught to do. They're they're really taught to make you really see the world from all different aspects and in different ways, inside the box, outside the box, and that's something, and it's a great experience. I loved going to college and taking all these classes, and you'll really learn what you really like, because the classes I thought I wanted to do and major in, I ended up not majoring in, and it's, because they give you the chance to try all these different things and all these different electives, and you'll be able to see what you like and don't like, because you really don't know until you actually are in it. If you really like something, because you can like it until you actually learn about it. And then once you start really learning in depth about it, then you really realize, if this is for you and this is not for you, and then you can actually start, pathing your journey, forward.
Okay. All right, Becky. Thank you. I'm going to put you back in the queue. And area code 646, you're on the air with Stacey. Area code 646. Hello, area code 646, you're on the air.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just
That's
wasn't
okay.
expecting to be in the chat again, but I did want to be in the chat. I was just walking around.
Okay.
Another question that came to my mind has to do with the different types of pots and pans that we can use. So I personally, being a college student, I just bought, the cheapest pack of pots and pans that I could buy, just a whole set from TJ Maxx. So recently, so filling those college student stereotypes. But I find that sometimes if I have the heat on high, that I can smell something toxic in the air, and I do think that it's the pot's burning. So I'm wondering what is the best type of, what is a pot or pan type or material that you would recommend? I know there's the ceramic types, there's different non-stick types. I have a cast iron skillet as well, but I can't do everything in it.
They say cast iron is so good for you, but then I bought the cast iron, and to be honest with you, it is so damn hard to clean, and it also weighs a ton. The ceramic ones are supposed to be really good. If you Google, and you Google the different brands of which ones are the best, because there are some that aren't really that healthy for you to use. And if you Google the different brands, and you'll get a list of different brands, and you can find out which ones are on the top 10, and then look at the prices and see what prices are most reasonable and within your budget. And sometimes you don't need to buy the big box of everything. As a college student, you need your one big pan, your one sauce pot, and then maybe a little one for the eggs in the morning if you eat eggs. But otherwise, three good pans, for you would, pots and pans would be perfect. And I would just Google and look up, what brands are, Google the best for health wise, and because some of them they can scratch, and when they scratch, the toxins can come out of the pot, and they tell you to throw it out. So you want to get a brand that is actually healthy for you. And if you're smelling something that doesn't smell too good when the heat is on, that's not a good sign. So I would just Google. And then I would just see what the prices are and stuff like that, because it's sometimes quality is not always by price. There's a lot of good products out there that aren't so expensive, but their quality is really good.
Thank you so much. I have one last question.
You want to stay away from aluminum pans. That you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I heard stainless steel was pretty
from
good.
Aluminum pans.
Yeah, aluminum is no good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And aluminum are usually those very thin pans.
Yes.
I will definitely be doing my research. And my last question, because I do have to eat in the nighttime a lot of the time, I am in my early 20s, but I find that I eat not so much. I eat, basically I eat in the nighttime, every single day. Not 10, and I was doing 1 a.m. So I'm wondering, being that based on my schedule, I almost have to eat very late every single day. I'm wondering what are good foods to eat in the night.
Well, the problem is that eating at night is that your body can't digest it well, and it can't break it down when you're sleeping. But, if you have to eat at nighttime and you can't avoid it, I would say do a protein shake or do something that's light on your stomach that, that has a lot of nutrients in it. Not a heavy food that's going to lie heavy in your stomach.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the benefits of being in my 20s, but the more that I keep eating in the nighttime, I'm like, no, I'm getting a little gut now.
Yeah, I think all the college kids do because when you eat late at night and you're doing those Doritos and potato chips and you're doing those there's no way of escaping it. So I would try to buy yourself some protein drinks that aren't too expensive. And make yourself a protein drink, and kind of compensate, for eating late at night, and try to eat like a nice big breakfast in the morning. That's healthy for you.
Well,
yes,
I'm curious here. Wait. I'm curious here because I don't recall seeing a kitchen in the dorm room. So what's going on there? I didn't know we could cook in the dorm.
I live off campus.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I moved off campus.
Okay, because I was watching A Different World and I didn't see any kitchen in there. But go ahead.
I just want to say that. What did you say?
I said I needed my rice and my beans. That's another thing. A lot of college students, the weight gain the first year is extremely radical because
all that
food, and then all of a sudden you can just eat chicken tenders and fries all day long. And me, I didn't gain much weight because I just try to eat between when the dining hall closed around 9. But my sister, we were about the same, and she gained 20 pounds in 1 year.
Yeah.
This
freshman.
Yeah.
I do want to compliment that on the fact that you are thinking and you're in your 20s. I don't remember thinking that.
Exactly.
Wow, what planet did you come from? Because all I could think about was boys.
Well, she's got a sneaky way of thinking about that. She doesn't want to gain the weight. Oh, thank you. I'm going to put you back in the queue. All right. Okay. If anybody else wants to dial in, we're almost at the top of the hour. But if you have a question or a comment, you can press 1, get into the host queue, and we can go from there. Otherwise, Carol, do you have a question you want to ask? I know.
Well, I want to ask her about her husband and what type of doctor is he?
My husband is a chiropractor. And he's a firm believer in chiropractic, and his office actually has acupuncture, and they do a lot of massage therapy and physical therapy too. So he's a big believer in that. And when your spine is aligned, everything in the body starts working better. So he is a chiropractor.
And that's kind of funny because there was a girl that used to sit next to me when I worked at a job in PA. And I asked her, because I was looking for a doctor, and I said to her, what doctor do you go to? And she said, I don't go to I go to a chiropractor like that. And I said, what? Our kids went to a chiropractor, for an ear infection. She said, the chiropractor handles everything for us. And I just, I gave her that.
That's amazing.
That look of,
Run along.
So it's just amazing to me to hear how far or how much chiropractors actually do than what I thought they did. So that's good.
Yeah, we actually had a chiropractor come on the show and talked about how realigning the body and what these issues are, the reason why you get sick and why stuff is going into this area instead of that area, because your body is, this is out of place or your discs are out of place. And, it was very interesting that what he was talking about. But okay, we are almost at the top of the hour, and I do not see anyone else in the host queue. Stacey, it's been wonderful having you on. Any last words for us?
I just want to remind people if, they have any questions or if they want to learn more about health, just, feel free to stop by our website, and they could always, throw me out a question or, any concerns and stuff like that at thecompleteherbalguide.com.
Thank you so
Say it
much.
again. Say your site again.
It's thecompleteherbalguide.com.
Okay.
All right, so you guys have heard it first here. And once again, Stacey, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it, and you're welcome to come on anytime. All right?
Oh, thank you.
So, and you have a blessed evening. We're going to tie it up tonight. We're going to close out in prayer. And thank you again, Stacey. I'm going to put you back in the queue. All righty?
Okay. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Have
Take care. Bye. And I'm certainly going to get that book. I'm going to certainly get that book, and everyone else.
On my screen already.
Okay. All right.
It is the one with the red cover. It's got. Let me see. What does it look like? I just want to make sure I have the right one because I have been known to buy the wrong book. But it does say Stacey Chillemi. How do you say it?
Chillemi, yes.
Oh, I was getting ready to say Chillemi. Okay, so it's got like a red cover, partially red, but I don't know what kind of shape that is.
Is that on your site or on Amazon?
They can buy it on my site or they can buy it on Amazon, either or.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Stacey, and you have a very blessed night. All right.
Thank you. You too.
You can stay on if you wish for the prayer, and we will just put you back in the queue. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was great. Next week, I do want everyone to know that we are going to have a guest on that's going to talk about child trafficking going on around us, how we need to watch our kids. So everyone needs to be aware of that. And I think Will, I just wanted to ask him, let me see if I can find him again. Will, are you still out there? 917 Will?
Yes, I'm still here.
How are you? Are you in the New York area?
Yeah, Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. Okay, so you in the Brooklyn congregation?
But I mean, I thought about it because
Wait a minute.
Go ahead, brother.
How I came about finding out about GOCC was one day, I was searching on YouTube on information on fasting, right? And I came across the gathering. These two brothers, I'm not sure of their name, but they were going in on fasting, and the way they broke it down, it kind of caught my attention, and I started looking at other studies that they were, other topics they were going into, and like I say, it interests me. So that's how I came across finding out about GOCC. But no, I'm not. I know there's one over here, I believe, on Rockaway.
Yes.
On Rockaway over here in Canarsie.
They fellowship on Friday evenings. They're there.
Yeah, Friday evenings. But the thing is, I mean, I don't know. Like I don't. No, like disrespect. I'm not the type to like join something in a way, but well, my thing is, I would like to learn the knowledge because the way the way these guys break the Bible down is like no other. So I'd like to because I believe on either Sundays they offer classes online, which I thought about doing.
The Hebrew Academy, yes.
Yeah, the Hebrew Academy. Now I'll do that, and so I could learn the knowledge and apply it to my life to better my life. But as far as I don't I don't know about joining.
But when I say you don't have to quote unquote join, it's not about joining. It is about learning and getting the knowledge, and that's what the Sabbath class is for. and that's every Sabbath. They have intense classes in the Bronx where we fellowship, and that's why I was wondering why I didn't know you. And so when you go there, you get that one-on-one knowledge, and you can ask questions as you're there and get commentary. It's not like a setting where you come in, all right, we stamp your hand, you're a member. No, you have to almost fight to become a member, in the sense that you have to straighten out your life if you are going to be a quote-unquote member. But the thing is that you will become a part of the congregation, in the sense that you'll meet a lot of brothers that are got their heads in the Bible, and that can, you guys could study together. If you want, I can pass your phone number on to a brother that can contact you, but if not, you can continue to do what you're doing. You are listening, and I just wanted to give you that opportunity if you had an interest.
I mean, are they gonna have me in the streets?
They do street preaching all the time. They do street preaching all the time.
What did he say?
He said,
"No, sorry, I was saying, are they gonna have me in the streets? Preaching, because I do see a lot of them out here lecturing on the.
Well, to be honest, those guys they're volunteering their time because they have a burning desire in their heart to turn the hearts of people back to the Father.
Amen.
So that's what they're out there for. And I know you're seeking knowledge, but they're mostly concerned with your heart condition and your love for the Lord. And sometimes that's something that we have to learn by listening and not being impressed by the fact that someone can break down a precept, because when our Savior does return, we want you to be ready, Will. Not just healthy.
Absolutely.
Not just healthy, but ready to meet him. Because the body will be destroyed. That's not going to last forever. That's all.
Yeah.
But we hope we see you up there in the New York congregation one day.
Exactly. Or stop by the Brooklyn congregation on Friday nights. They have a lesson there. Elder Gabois is usually there and teaching on Friday night Sabbath. And I hate to throw this in there, but they usually have a food and fellowship afterward, and you get to know the brothers. But you'd be surprised. You'd see how wonderful and how much love is actually in the congregation. But you learn to walk with God. That's what's most important. Learning to and getting in touch with the brothers and learning what fasting really is. It's not just cleaning out that physical temple. It's cleaning out that spiritual temple, because it's those demonic spirits that won't come out but by prayer and fasting. And those are the things that are critical. And no one will make you get out there and get on the corner and preach, but your mind and your soul will compel you to want to tell others that wonderful found knowledge, that wonderful seed that was sown in your soul, that you have a right to the kingdom of God. That's why you'll be out there if you go out there. It's not necessarily your calling. But when you got something and it's wonderful, no one can hold you down. It's like fire shut up in your bones.
That's right.
So that's what Carol is talking about. And but nonetheless, we don't want to scare you. You're on the path.
Like I say, I think what I'll do, I'll start off with the academy that they offer on Sundays, and
you're talking some serious meat.
That's okay. Let him go, because let him go.
Absolutely.
Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So,
amen.
Hey, keep listening.
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely. Thank you, ladies, for tonight's show.
Okay.
So
all right. And so
you're here
tonight
every Monday evening?
Yes, this is actually the women's show. And usually,
no wonder. I thought about that because I'm like, it sounds like only females were there. So
that's right. We don't usually get men on here, but every now and then, if we hear a male voice, that's why I said, do you want me to take your number and pass it on to a brother? Because we're not trying to usurp authority here. That's for sure.
Okay, so let me ask you, what other nights do they
on Wednesday night, Elder Recall will be on, and an excellent show. On Tuesday night, there's another show. I believe it's a lot of music and spoken word, and I think there's a program on Thursday also. But I believe it's all 7 o'clock. But you could check the Blog Talk webpage or go to GOCC's website and it'll tell you exactly when. But the Wednesday night program is definitely Elder Car, and I tell you, you want some learning, you get on there, you'll find some learning.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, brother. Be blessed now. Okay, I'm gonna pick you out of the queue. All right. All right. So that was very interesting. Okay, we are pretty much so at the top of the hour. I am tired, but if anybody has a comment or a question, press 1, get into the host queue. Otherwise, we are going to pray out. And I do want to just bring out, too, that we're definitely going to have next week. We have a guest coming on that's going to talk about child trafficking. And you talk about child trafficking right here in the United States. Watch your babies. Watch your children. Don't let them out of your sight. Because the Lord, I said to her when we were, interviewing, is this gender? Is this gender basis? No, it doesn't matter. Male, female. Is it more geared towards what race? The race has nothing to do with it. These people are crazy. So we need to be very, very careful with that precious commodity that the Most High has given us. Now, I know we were supposed to be on here tonight talking about marriage and love and why we have this inert desire to get married when marriage seems to be a raw deal for the woman. It seems to be that way. But we have to look deeper and see that spiritual meaning and then understand and realize where we belong in the marriage. We've been talking about it. What is marriage? Why did we get married? Are we learning really what the Most High set up as marriage? Because it looks like a failed institution, and that can't be if we're doing it the Most High's way. We will get back to that. We're going to be going away. The Northeastern congregations of GOCC will be going to a women's retreat on so-called Thanksgiving weekend. So if you're in the Northeastern region and you're interested in coming, let me know. We will be headed up to the Poconos for some life-changing workshops and events. All right, so Carol, I think that we can close out now. And if you want to guide us and, take us before his throne, and we can get some sleep tonight. Mm-hmm.
All right, head covered. Okay,
thank
you, Father. Thank you so much. You've never let us down, Lord. We ask and we always get. We always receive something from this. We thank you for all of the people who called in. We thank you, of course, for our guest speaker who came on and imparted her particular knowledge. Father, we ask that as we hear from all the different people that come on, that we do weigh each thing in the process before we do anything, that we understand that person is pushing for and see how it works with our lives. Let us try the Spirit, as you said. Father, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for all the listeners. We thank you for the people who called in and shared and asked questions to make this even more fruitful, Father. We thank you, and at the appointed time next week, we ask that you bring us all back here safely, and we may begin to share again, Father. We thank you so much for tonight, and we'll never cease to give your name praise, honor, and glory. In the name of Hayabah Hashem Yeshaya, we pray. Amen.
Come on.
Abanawa Shabashamayam Kwadashayashamka Ahaya Malakwaka Sabaa Ratazawan Kahaya Aisha Bahurataza Kawa Haya Bashamayam Nasalanawa Laham Kayawam Wasalak Nawa Kawawab Nawa Kasalak Nawa Kawabwab Nawa Wala Sabayan Nawa Bashamayam Kudash Hayashimka Ahaya Malakwaska Saba'a Ratazawanka Haya Aisha Baharataza Koa Haya Bashamayam Nafananawa Lacham Kayawam Wasalak Nawa Kawabwat Nawa Kasalak Nawa Kawabwat Nawa Wala Sabayan Nawa Banasaya Wanaba Hawashai Nawa Man Raikaya Laka Hamalakwat Waha Allah Wahata